Calling to order the January 7th, 2026 meeting of the Lunenburg Conservation Commission. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being audio-video recorded. The agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at the meeting and those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken from these discussions. Not all items may be discussed, and other items may be raised to the extent permitted by open meeting law. Please be advised that the town of Lunenburg utilizes the Zoom platform as host for its hybrid and remote meetings, that the Zoom platform utilizes AI technology known as AI Companion to create audio transcriptions of meetings to aid in the subsequent preparation of meeting minutes, and that AI Companion is activated immediately upon launching the Zoom application. You are hereby notified that this AI technology may capture audio prior to the start of the meeting and or following the conclusion of the meeting. Okay, do a roll call. Teddy Doucette,
Here.
Andrea Burnett,
Here.
Mary Wilson,
Here.
Mike LaRouche,
Here.
and I am here. Chris and Rich will not be here tonight. We just lost Teddy. There he is.
I'm here.
Oh, you were pinned and then you weren't pinned anymore. Weird. It looked like you left. Okay. All right. Up first, we have an appointment for 49 Cliffview Terrace, which is a administrative determination. Do I need to read this in for an administrative determination? It says, I don't think I do.
No, not for an administrative
Okay.
determination.
Thank you, Mary. My brain's a little
Yeah,
wacky
it's
tonight.
understandable.
So, okay, do we have, all right, so this is 49 Cliffview Terrace, a public hearing on a conservation administrator's determination regarding removal of 11 dead hemlock trees. They were probably killed by HWA over the last decade. These trees are a safety hazard to persons and property. The trees will be selectively removed without disturbing the surrounding trees and vegetation. Do we have the applicant from 49 Cliffview on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and can you, let me just find you. Um,
It's Dick
Dick
Fisher.
Fisher, there you are. Okay. Um, do you have anything that you would like to share with us regarding?
Um, well, yes, the first thing I want to say is thank you very much for putting me early on the agenda. I'm in the embarrassing position of telling you that I'm asleep at 8:30 at every night, except in the summer when I make it till 9. Mike's laughing at me.
I
So,
actually am the same, except for on nights of the Conservation Commission.
so thank you very much. So no, I have really nothing else to add. I sent the pictures, I sent a little diagram. The trees have been dead for a while, but I think it's time to take them down because more and more big limbs are coming down.
Okay, so I'm going to read Harlan's notes from the meeting minutes for the previous meeting that this was supposed to be on. So 11 hemlock trees were observed to be dead, exhibiting extensive branch dieback, lack of live foliage, and overall structural decline. The condition of these trees is consistent with long-term impacts from hemlock woolly adelgid infestation, which has affected hemlock populations throughout the region over the past decade. Uh, The dead hemlocks were identified throughout the wooded slope and along the shoreline edge. Due to their height, location, and deteriorated condition, these trees pose a safety hazard to persons and property, particularly during wind, snow, or ice events. Tree removal shall be limited to the 11 dead hemlock trees identified during the site visit. Trees shall be selectively removed in a manner that minimizes disturbance to surrounding trees, understory vegetation, and soils. Stumps and root systems shall remain in place unless otherwise authorized. No equipment staging, stockpiling, or debris disposal shall occur within resource areas. Any additional tree removal or disturbance beyond what is authorized will require further review by the conservation agent or conservation commission. Um, and then I spoke to Harlan today, and she said that she um believed that you had maybe there was a replacement plan too for some of the trees. I'm gonna pull up the pictures from the OpenGov. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Yep,
So this is a diagram of the parcel, and these dots are the trees
those are the trees, yep.
that would be removed. Um, and then this is a photo, and this would be the ones that are marked in red.
Yep.
Did you and Harlan discuss replacements at
No, we
all?
did not.
Okay. These
And I
are
don't
these are
have
pretty,
no plans for replacement. There are, as you can see, there's quite a few other trees
yeah.
right in the vicinity, so I just want to get them down so they don't take anything else out.
Yeah, they are pretty close together.
Yeah,
And then this is the tops.
yeah.
Okay. Do we have any questions from members of the commission?
No questions from me, Madam Chair.
Okay. I'm not seeing any hands up.
No
Okay,
questions here either.
all right. Do we have any motions? Or, yeah,
I would
motions?
make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay,
Second.
that was Teddy. What I
Yes.
heard? Okay. All right, so I have a motion from Mary and a second from Teddy. So to approve as stated, roll call vote, Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Michael LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, the motion is approved, so you can coordinate with the office when you take them down because he needs to reach out to Harlan afterwards,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, so I have talked to a couple of tree companies. I don't have a date yet because I was waiting for this approval. So what's my next step then?
So your next step would be to find a company that will perform the work, and then after the work is done, Harlan would have to go out.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Anyone want to correct me there? That's
that would be
correct, right?
fine.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I can notify you, and I anticipate doing it hopefully this month. While the ground is still nice and frozen. So I will contact the office immediately once we get them down. That's great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Luck then.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good luck.
Night. All right. I did just see Tom enter. So up next we have an appointment for Tom Analons to discuss trail grooming on the conservation area trails. And I see Tom just joined us. Hi, Tom. Oh, hopefully his sound is on. Can you hear me, Tom?
How's that better?
Much better. All right. Thank you for making it to the meeting. We wanted to just hopefully finish up what we had spoken about last week, which was getting some plans in place for what you would like to be grooming. And we had asked for a map, but we have a map that we can use
I
for
did some maps
grooming.
as well.
I'm sorry?
I think I sent you some maps.
You did send me some maps.
Yeah.
So there are some issues with the new trails that are added into the Lane property, so the Lane property is an NHESP site, which is a National Heritage and an endangered species program. So the entire lane property is part of an NHESP site. So to add new trails there, we really need to get permission from the NHESP. So those trails are not valid as of right now, even as trails. So we need to figure out what the steps for those trails are, but for right now, they cannot be groomed. So as a commission, we can discuss, what other plans we have. So we have a map with the map that's at the entrance of the lane property is, a map that has been approved by the commission. As far as I know, that is the map that Mary, do you have something to add?
Well, I thought we had a map to share.
We do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I have it queued up and ready to go.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Can we see this map? Can everybody see my screen?
Madam
Yeah.
Chair, I can see it, but it has a big wolf
Oh.
security. There we go. Thank you.
There we go. Okay, so this is I actually compared it to the map that's at the lane property. This is the exact map that is at the front and the Holman parking lot. So it does match. And this is what's the word I'm looking for? The
Sanctioned
map.
trails, approved
Sanctions,
trails.
yes. Thank you very much. So these are our current sanctions trails in the lane property, Large Town Forest. We have no jurisdiction over Hickory Hills trails, so I can't give you any guidance there. Or nor can we can, as a commission, can't give you any guidance there. But these are the trails that me as one commissioner, I would be okay with grooming. We'd obviously have to vote as a commission and see what other commissioners have to say. Do we have any comments from members of the public or comments from members of the commission? Mary raised her hand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One thing that I think we should point out is that kind of towards the center of your screen, there's brown trails.
These ones?
Lower, yeah, there and lower and down to
Outside of
Gilchrist. Yeah. Those are on private land, and I believe the covenant on that is non-motorized.
Okay.
We don't go them other anyway.
Okay. So yeah, stay within the yellow.
Well, but that's the way we cross.
highlighting.
That's where we cross the driveway anyway on that ridge. Right. One that goes out to Hillcrest.
Yeah, to
Um,
Gilchrest,
which-
all of the brown is not,
We
all of the
don't. We
brown
don't.
is not.
Yeah, we don't. We don't go
Lunenburg
out
land.
there. Yeah, that's. We don't know. We don't groom that. So, what trails do you not want groomed, or we don't have permission? That's
So
basically.
as of right now, any trail that is not on this sanctioned map, we cannot have groomed because it's an NHESP site. And it opens up a huge can of worms that we need to check with NHESP. And our agent has already reached out to them to see what we can do about those trails. Because we just need to make sure this is all on the up and up, and we can't have you out there grooming them. Another issue is that some of the trails that are out there, there are jumps and ramps out there that could be a liability to the commission, to the town. So there are things on the trails that we just need to make sure that if we are adding trails, again, we are not opposed to adding trails. But if we are adding trails, they need to be done with the mindset of how it affects the town, how it affects the people that are on the property. It has to be done as a collaborative thing.
Yeah, how come it says on the bottom trails may exist that not are on map? So are there trails there that are on the bottom of that?
All right, let me get my screen sharing thing in the way, and it's not moving. So let me get it out of
It
it.
says trails may exist
Yeah.
that are not mapped. So what trails are on there that aren't on the map that we can groom?
So it's
Yeah.
just, as for me, again, we haven't voted yet, but for me, myself as one commissioner, I would not be willing to have any of the trails that are not on this map specifically groomed.
Yeah.
Mary, you have your hand raised?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I don't believe we should permit grooming of any trail that's not shown on this map.
Do we have any other
Madam Chair,
comments? Yes.
so what we are saying tonight to Tom is that if the trail is in red, yellow,
Yeah,
blue,
Blue.
or green, those are the trails that can be groomed.
And within that yellow perimeter, which I think includes all of those colors. I don't see any of those colors outside of
Okay,
that perimeter. So yes, that would be accurate. And those are the trails that we know are sanctioned and would not be an issue with the town or NHESP or any other stakeholders.
Okay, so basically what we did last year, the same as last year.
Yeah. Is that, if that's what you did last year, then it would be the same as last year.
thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have any other questions? Oh, I have, I think, is that Bob Pease raised his hand?
It is.
Okay, Bob. Nice to see you here.
It's nice to be here. I strongly support the request to groom trails. It's to me, the trail grooming is a real plus for all users of our conservation areas. You know, it benefits hikers, cross-country skiers, snowshoers, mountain bikers. To me, it benefits all user groups. And you know, when the snow is like a foot deep, it's very difficult to traverse. You know, the trails and slog along. And I'm strongly in favor of this. I mean, several years ago, used to be the Lunenburg Snow Riders had to come back every year and request all over again every year the ability to take and groom our trails, and you know, the trails that are yellow and orange on the maps. They and you know, several years ago we took and you know, we put those trails in yellow and orange on the maps and said, you know, hey, they can groom these trails every year from now on. And I think I was surprised to see that Tom had to come back this year to ask all over again to groom trails. I think it's a real plus. I wasn't paying attention last year when, you know, he got permission last year to groom the trails, if it was just a 1 year or whether it was continuing. I do think that, you know, the issue of trails that are, you know, constructed without permission, you know, without advance permission, you know, has got conflated, you know, with the issue of trail grooming because the same people are involved. But to me, the trail grooming is just a positive, and I'm in favor of it. As the author of the map you're looking at, I would say that there are trails that are official trails that are marked with trail markers. You know, they're marked with you know, Conservation Commission trail markers. There's a blue trail that was put in a couple of years ago that I thought I brought before the commission, but maybe I didn't. I have to go back and do a minute search. there's some other prior existing trails that don't appear on the map that have trail markers, because when I first made the map, I thought, well, we don't really need that trail, but then everybody was using it, so I added the trail markers, to these existing trails. So I would advocate that Tom be allowed to groom all the trails that have existing trail markers. The trail map, I believe, I made it in 2022. I'm working on revising it. It sounds like, given this language I heard tonight about, natural heritage, that maybe we need, I need to come to a commission meeting, and be on the agenda and talk about the whole process. But tonight I'm just here to talk about the grooming, and I'm strongly in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. So this map says that it was February 2024. And it appears to me that all the trails that I'm aware of that are
Or if
on
it's a map, can you show
Mary-
the map on the screen again, or maybe I'm not looking at the right thing?
it's everybody can still see this on my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, then I'm looking at the wrong thing. I have to I think I'm looking at participants rather than I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do to look at the map.
I think if you hover over the ZM at the bottom, you
Yeah.
may see two separate screens, and you might be able to click on the other one. Or you might, if you try to minimize the participants.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's see. Oh,
that
here we
might
are.
bring up-
All right, I'm back on the screen. There's a trail that goes that was put in two or 3 years ago. That's a blue trail. It's marked with blue markers.
Is it not this one right here?
No.
No,
No.
it's down.
It's
No,
in the
Chris.
bottom.
It's at the bottom. It starts.
There you
right
go. No, go
Yeah.
go down. Yeah. Go down.
Yeah.
Is it's right in this area, right?
Yes.
Right in that area. That trail's been there for 2 winters. It's marked with blue trail markers. Let's see, and that's about it. I think all the other trails out there are show on the map, that are currently marked with blue trail markers. So
Is that one, Bob, over prior to the snowmobile trail, the snowmobile bridge? Is that the one you're talking about? You cross over the red.
It comes off like somewhere right here, right?
No.
And goes
Madam
that
Chair,
way?
no, if you go down to that kind of that blue elbow that dips down
Right
Yeah.
here?
down there,
Yeah.
yeah, and then keep going kind of in a
Goes
north
straight-
east
straight
kind of
across the red.
situation. Yeah, and then it reconnects into the next red
So right
up there.
here?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And yeah, that's I believe, Bob, that's the one you're talking about.
it
So
is
it
the
goes
one
like
I'm
this.
talking about, and I can assure you that it's heavily used by all classes of conservation trail users. So
I do want to reiterate, I want to agree with Bob that I absolutely think the grooming is a boon for the town. 100%. I'm for the grooming. I think it's great that you're willing to do this, Tom. And I think that is great for the town and everybody who uses these trails. Mary, you have your hand raised.
Yes, I also agree. I think it's a big value to all of the trail users that the grooming is there. I do think there's some notable differences between the way this grooming is now being managed and the snow rider grooming. The snow riders are actually organized and organized as a not-for-profit organization with annual filings with the state, right? As a organization with a structure and with officers, right? So there's a continuity there and accountability there. And right now, I mean, it's wonderful that Tom is willing to do the grooming, but I do feel it's important for accountability purposes that this be, in my mind, be an annual permit to him, or a permission to him, because we don't really have an organizational structure behind him with regard to that. I would consider it differently if there was a formed organization with officers and with a continuity plan and with clear accountability that was making this request. But it is a huge value, and I am very much in favor of the grooming. I think we need to go by the map, right? And if this is the map that we have, that's the most current map, then I think that's what we've got to go by, because I am very concerned about a lot of the unauthorized activity that's been happening out in the forest. And I think we need to have very clear accountability, and a document that we can go back to if something's happening that is not what we expected or we approved. I think we need to have a document that we can go back to and say, it's this map, this trail is either on the map or it's not on the map. Therefore, it was approved or it was not approved. That's my personal opinion. But I do think the grooming is a big value add for all the trail users. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mary. Mike, you have your hand up.
Yes, Madam Chair. I echo my fellow colleague, Mary, saying that how important this is, and how I heard from Mr. Pease how important it is to have this grooming service available to us. I like the fact that the map is there. I didn't realize that there were some trail markers that were not part of this map. And do we have any idea when, are we discussing the map here? Or are we discussing trails that have trail markers, or is that a different conversation to have? And how difficult would it be to add where the trail markers are to make those as sanctioned trails for our town?
I've had no experience with these creation of these maps. I love them when I go to the trails. They're they really blew me away when I first moved to Lunenburg, but I know nothing about how they're created and how they end up there. I don't know how much that costs, but I know there is, if we were to update it and add it to the trail system, there would be a cost of each one that was replaced. But I could let either Bob or Mary could definitely better speak to that. And I think it's ultimately going to be up to the commission whether we want to look at the map as we have the map, which I am in favor of, or if we want to say, that the trail that is not on the map would be acceptable to groom because it has trail markers. I'm inclined to stick to the map itself just because it is a document that we have our eyes on and that is at the trailheads. Mary, you have your hand up?
Yeah, to Mike's question, I mean, Bob's has been working with Montechusett Regional Planning on creation of the maps, but I was astounded when I walked out there a couple of weekends ago at the number of trails that are out there that I know have not been before the commission, and there has not been permission granted by the commission to go out and put those trails in. And so that's why I think we really need very much to stick to the map. And I will say that the individual that I was talking to about these trails told me a lot of stuff that he said that Bob gave him permission to do those trails, and he said that Bob said that I gave him permission to do those trails, and I can tell you I absolutely did not. I spoke to Bob after the fact, and Bob said he also did not convey that information, right? And so I think there needs to be very clean and crisp accountability here.
And I agree. Thank you, Mary.
And I, just for the record, since Bob is here, he can say whether what I related was accurate.
That sounds accurate.
Well,
Thank you,
that
Bob.
was a huge misunderstanding then, because I wouldn't have done it out of the blue. Bob and I must have had and others in that group in that conversation. That was it wasn't just me, but that's in the past, and let it be. But
All the more reason for very clear and crisp accountability so there are no misunderstandings moving forward, in my opinion, Madam Chair.
100%. So in the interest of not, spending a ton of time on this tonight, we've spent a lot of time in it in the last meeting.
so okay, so we got that. What about Table Rock, Jen?
So as far as Table Rock goes, I am not inclined to have any grooming at Table Rock. That is not up to me though. I'm happy to hear from members of the commission or members of the public on how they feel about that. We start with members of the commission. Do we have any? Mary, you have your hand up.
Madam Chair, yeah, I think maybe we ought to take each request individually and vote and deliberate on each property that the request has been
Okay.
made for.
Yeah. And Mike, you have your hand up?
Yes, Madam Chair, I was going to echo what Mary just said. And is there a map? There must be a map for Table Rock.
I sent Jen one. Now,
Yeah,
Bob,
you
is
did.
that all conservation out there in
I'm sorry?
Table Rock off the Christmas tree farm? Is that all conservation?
Table Rock is all conservation. Right, Mary? Oh, Bob has his hand up.
I'm hesitant to say, without looking at a map, that what Tom thinks he's asking about would be what I would be answering about.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. Bob, you have your hand up?
One, I'd be happy at some future point. Basically, all of the trail maps that we have for all conservation lands in town were prepared by the Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission based on information that I sent them. And I said when I left the commission, I'd be happy to continue to work on those, and that's still the case. And in fact, I have been working on updating this map and the Table Rock map. There was approved by the commission like 3 years ago, a plan to upgrade the trails at Table Rock. It showed a lot of connecting trails. A lot of trails where you have two trails that leave the property, and so if you'd have to like go on the private land, and so I proposed to make connecting trails to turn the two dead end trails into a loop. You're probably not aware that many of the trails on the large town forest and the Lane property were like that when we got the property, and through the efforts of volunteers like myself, all of that work has happened here to take and make connecting trails. And so I would urge you to take and stick with Mary's suggestion that you take them one at a time and decide on the Lane and the large town forest first, and then move on to Table Rock.
All right. I think that's very fair. Thank you, Bob. Okay, so do we have any more comments from members of the commission on the Lane property? Do we have any comments from members of the public? Okay, do we have a motion from a member of the commission?
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to permit for the next 12 months the snow dog grooming on the Lane and Large Town conservation land parcels on red, blue, green, yellow, and orange trails.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Madam Chair, may I amend that? Those
yes.
trails that are shown on the trail map.
Okay, do
Second.
we have a second? All right. Roll call vote, Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, so Tom, that is permission to groom with the snow dog on the trails on the trail map in the yellow area for the large town forest and the lane property that are red, yellow, blue, green, and orange, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Okay. Do we want to look at the Table Rock map now? Or do we want to
Sure.
stick to the one? All right, let me pull that up. Okay. Mm. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Let me flip this to a better way of looking at it. Almost there. And now the
Yeah.
thing is in front of it where I'm flipping one more time. Wait, did I go right by it? Oh, okay. I guess that's probably going to be the best way to look at it, even though it's a little sideways so we can see the whole thing at once. So we have our trail map, we have our legend right here. And then when you were Bob, the trails that you were talking about that don't connect in that you were working on. Well, this is the trail map. Do we have any comments from members of the commission regarding this map? I'm not nearly as familiar with Table Rock as I am with the Lane property. Mike, you have your hand up.
Are we looking at the trails that are in red, blue, and is there any other color? Yellow,
Green.
green,
Yeah, and
the colors, those
orange.
trails, and orange?
So
So
yeah,
when
so there's
it's on that map, I can see them. And are those the ones we're thinking of grooming?
Some of them, Mike, are not groomable just because they're just
Okay,
too rocky and too
okay,
tight for the groomer to even attempt to groom it, without beating the machine up. So,
but the
but-
ones that you can groom are either
They're-
red, blue, green,
yeah, parts.
yellow. Okay, that's fine.
There is a trail, Mike, that off Northfield Road, that trailhead, that there is two or three loops in there that are kind of nice to groom. But I'm not as
yellow
familiar.
trail.
I'm not as familiar, Mike, as I am with Holman Street on Table Rock. So I'm looking at it. Yes, I have a great idea, but I don't know what trails are groomable and what are not. But if I was just I just I've been through enough with Holman Street, and I just didn't want to get in trouble doing something that I wasn't supposed to. So that's why I was kind of inquiring on grooming. And another question I had is with Jen and Mary about down trees. I mean, is that something that we're allowed to cut off the trail, or do I need to email you and say I'm removing a dead tree off the trail? I know some of those that ridge trail in the large town forest, needs work. I mean, there's rocks, that existing rocks on the trail that are just rough on the machine. And I realize it's mountain biking and that's part of it, but some of it, you need a lot of snow in there to groom it just because of the terrain.
So I see Bob has his hand up. Bob, do you have something you're gonna?
2 or 3 years ago, I came to the commission. I think actually at the time I was a member of the commission. And I proposed improvements to the trails, a trail plan. I proposed a trail plan for Table Rock which was approved by the entire commission at a meeting. I could find it in the minutes if I had to. And it did a lot of connecting trails, where now the trails leave the property. So for example, well, first of all, there's a trail at the bottom, that National Honor Society and a lot of other people, have worked on, that takes, and goes from the area where the parking lot is proposed
Yeah.
up through the middle of that parcel, up and connects right there. And
I
you know,
blocked that.
the commission has, and so, I mean, the commission has participated in work days, recruited, volunteers and everything else, to create and improve that trail, but it's not on this map. Over on the right side, there's trails that leave the property. I guess that's probably the east side, where it butts up against the Christmas tree farm. You'll see trails that leave the property and they don't connect. And I came to some volunteers, Gary Lottie and some other people came and requested materials, to build a bridge over there so they can make a connecting trail. And the commission voted to approve the materials for the bridge. And I believe I shared with the commission after it was done, pictures of their successful work. And so there's a trail over there that doesn't show on this map, that was approved by the commission. And then if you look at the top of the map, there's that piece of private property that extends way down. Yeah, that right there. I proposed to take and put a connecting trail so you didn't have to leave, so you could still make use of those trails, without having to, go across private property. And there's a lot of other trails that are existing, long-standing existing trails that don't show on this map, and they showed on the map that I took and brought to the commission and was approved by the commission, back whenever. And I believe I sent a copy of that map to Jen and Mary sometime in the last month. Again, I think the trail grooming is a great benefit to all users, and I'm not quite sure why you would take and vote to restrict Table Rock to trails that are on the map, when there's been trails that have been, and I wasn't intending to update this map until we finished, until the trail work was finished to create all those connecting trails. If you look on the left-hand side of the map, the west side, you'll see that trail leaves, the blue trail leaves, and it goes down, and you see right now, you have to go on private property. You have to go on Settlers Crossing property to continue on. And so, we want to make a trail that, connected those two where you stayed on conservation land. And that trail's been roughed out, but it hasn't been connected. And the same thing where that trail that comes down, it strays onto. There's two lots that are owned by Phil Calametta, and the trail strays just over the property line, and it is. And so, we were going to move the trail so it's off of Calametta's property, over here. And so, this is a relatively new property. The trail system is not mature. When we first got the Lane property, the trail system at the Lane property looked a lot like this. And so, we developed a plan for the improvement of those trails, and it was approved by the commission. And so I just wanted to say all of that, and I'll shut up now.
Okay. I'm just pulling something up.
I thought we had permission there last year, didn't we? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
And I thought, Bob, when we put those trails in on Holman Street, that we were, my understanding that it was going to be added to that new trail map that you put up, so it was one continuous loop was the whole objective of putting
But
those.
let's, we're talking about Table Rock now, please, at least from my point of view.
No,
Yeah.
okay, well,
So this is what you had sent Bob that I think you're referring to.
I don't know.
Oh,
I can't.
you can't see my screen?
I'm looking at the wrong thing, obviously.
I can't see your screen either.
It says it's sharing. It hates me. That is so weird. It is outlined like it's sharing. And it clearly isn't. So let me unshare and then share again.
There it
Much
comes.
better.
All right. All right, Mike, I see that you have your hand up.
Yes, this is
Yes.
there you go.
the two that I sent. And I brought to a Conservation Commission meeting, and it was approved at a Conservation Commission meeting as a plan for trails at Table Rock.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mike.
does this map include more trails than the previous map?
Yes, so this is the new trail that Bob was talking about that comes off of the parking lot. And I don't know if that trail would be groomable. I've walked that trail and it's still, I don't know, last time I walked it, it was pretty rough still. I don't know if it would be considered groomable. And so this is the map that Bob is referring to.
Okay.
Do I see more raised hands? But it's not showing me what they are. Oh, Mary, you have your hand up.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. Yeah, I do recall this dialogue with Bob at a Conservation Commission meeting. So thank you for pulling that up. One thing that I neglected to bring up in the previous dialogue that I just wanted to say out loud too, that permission to groom is exactly permission to groom. It's not permission to bring extra materials onto like ramps and whatnot onto the property for the purposes of grooming.
Yeah.
If that's required, Tom would need to come and let us know that that's required and let us know where he's going to put it in and get permission for that as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
My understanding is that a ramp or something has been brought into the lane or large town forest for the purposes of grooming. And I believe that that was brought in without permission. I don't recall permission being granted for that. And so I want to make certain Tom is clear that he has to ask for permission for any of those alterations prior to installing them.
Okay. Did you hear that, Tom?
Yes, I could go pull them ramps out. There's a tree over that trail. I mean, if you give me permission to cut that half tree down crossing that trail, I'll take the ramps out of there. I mean, it was just a convenient thing so it was fun for everyone. But if that's a problem, I can go pull them aluminum ramps out, and you know.
Or Madam Chair, I could suggest that he bring us a map that shows where they are, and he could ask retroactively for that permission.
Yeah. Would you mind doing that, Tom? And maybe taking some pictures?
Yeah, I could send you pictures next time I'm out there.
Okay.
I think
Mike, were you done, Tom?
There may be snow. Well, I'm not sure. I haven't been out there in a week just because work's been very active with the weather.
Same.
I've been just crazy busy, so I haven't had a chance to get out there. But now, what you didn't answer me about the trees that are down. Just far as maintenance, Jen. You know, dead trees that are falling. I know we went over this briefly last meeting. So, I mean, to move sticks and down limbs and down dead trees, is that something that I need to notify you on? I mean, do you want me to take a picture and go, there's a 12-inch, 14-inch tree crossing a trail and I need to get it out of the, do I
Mary
need
has her hand
permission to
up,
cut that?
and I think she can speak to that better than I can. She's a
Um,
little bit more.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I actually went and looked up the land use regulation. I have it in front of me.
Thank you.
And it's section 3, conservation land and trail stewardship, in that land use regulation or policy that's posted on our Lunenburg Conservation Commission website, right? Section 3, the commission encourages thoughtful and responsible help by the public in the maintenance of our conservation lands and our trail system. 3.11, down trees or limbs and vegetation encroaching the trails may be removed from existing trails by hand using hand pruners or handsaw. No powered tools may be used. No digging or excavation of roots or stumps may occur. For the approval to maintain trails further, please contact the conservation administrator.
Okay, so it sounds like if you're able to do any of those things by hand, that would be allowable if you're looking for permission.
So you
Um,
said, so that's a handsaw, does that mean?
yep, so if you're looking to use,
A cordless chainsaw is not permitted?
well, it says the next part of that was if you'd like to use a power tool, then come and ask for permission. It actually says to reach out to the conservation agent. This may be something we'd be willing to talk about now, though. Mike, you had your hand up?
Yes, Madam Chair. I was going to address the tree that falls over the trail, and you've been talking about it. Does the hand tool also include a battery-operated chainsaw?
That's
That would be
what
power.
That's powered.
That's
Yeah.
power, even though it's battery.
Yes. Because the
Battery,
battery is
operated
creating
by a
power.
battery motor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that up. I appreciate it.
And then Mary, did you have your hand up?
I just took it down, Madam Chair. I just wanted to support you with a read from the land use policy.
Thank you. Bob, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I did. When I was on the commission, I was not in favor of this restriction on the use of chainsaws. I can tell you that chainsaws are routinely used by people to clear huge trees that fall down across our trails. I don't recall anyone coming back and asking for permission, to use a chainsaw out there. Be it, volunteers or snow riders or anybody else. If every time a big tree fell down across the trail, and you wanted to use a chainsaw to get it and you had to jump through hoops, I don't think very many of our trails would still be accessible. That's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you. So, and Mary, my understanding of how you read that was that they just need to call the conservation agent. It didn't say they need to come to a meeting.
That's correct.
So it doesn't sound like they would have to jump through the hoops, Bob. And what's there is there, and that's the regulation. But it seems pretty reasonable to me to have to just call the conservation agent. I'm sure that she would, reach out to the commission, but it doesn't sound like somebody would have to come to a meeting. Because I do think that there is a slippery slope. If we were to say, yep, everybody go out with a chainsaw, it's fine, then there could be some questions about what is acceptable, what's not acceptable. So that's my 2 cents. Do we have any other? So as far as this map goes, and this is, a draft map, the trails in here are much different. It doesn't sound like Tom fully knows what's groomable in there. Do we have any? Mary, you have your hand up.
I had a question through you, Madam Chair, to Bob Pease. Bob, are all of these proposed connecting trails installed, or are some of them not yet installed?
Very few of them are installed. The new Brown Trail from Northfield is completed. A version of the trail, over by the tree farm on the right or east side, has been completed. That's where the bridge was put in. It doesn't exactly look like that connecting trail. It is a connecting trail. I think it actually, the red trail in the middle, was you see the blue trail that goes down to the corner there. That trail was taken and connected over up to the yellow trail, and that red trail that shows on the map from the blue trail to the property line was eliminated. I believe, based on what I've been told, I've not gone out and looked at it, and that is the area where that bridge was installed. So that the commission, approved in advance the payment for materials. But other than that, most of the rest of the connecting trails, I've been working for the last over a year on that trail that goes from Northfield up to Table Rock. It still needs a little more work, and I've been out of commission since September because I've been in the hospital 4 times. But my commitment, and I thought I had permission to take, was to take and work on completing all these connecting trails so we have a viable on the property trail system at Table Rock.
Yeah, thank you for answering that question, Bob. Yeah, and that's my understanding as well. And being a former commissioner and a great trail steward, it's really super that you observe the process of getting approval beforehand. And I think that's a great example that everybody ought to follow.
100%. And thank you for all that you do, Bob.
I agree, 100%.
This is an example of you came to the commission. I think, were you on the commission? No,
Yeah.
This one is in April. So
He may have been then as well. Yeah.
okay. Oh yeah, gosh, April.
But even as a sitting commissioner, he recognized the requirement to come and get permission before going in and installing the trails.
Yep. So as far as grooming at Table Rock, I would love to hear ideas on what commissioners think would be a good way to approach this.
Madam Chair, is Table Rock the only other property that the request for grooming has been made on?
For this year, Mary, yeah, I mean, I did submit, I'm not sure if I submitted Mompus Road or not to Jen, but there was, it's actually a fantastic place to groom because it's more, well, it's groomable friendly. But that's maybe in the years to come. I think right now, Holman Street and Table Rock, if we could get permission with Table Rock, some of it, maybe Bob can go over it with you and outline the stuff that's groomable. He's probably got a little better idea than myself. And then maybe work on Holman Street just to make that continuous loop that we had talked about, that there was misunderstanding of the new trails, just so it's more flowy and more convenient for hikers and bikers from going one trail to the next and trying to stay off the snowmobile. It is, I know when you are out there and the snowmobiles are out there and you hear them coming, we get off the trail. That was the whole idea of putting trails and trying to avoid snowmobiles, I guess, and staying out of their way, and we're out of their way. But the snowmobiles are very friendly when I run into them at night. And but if we could eventually get a map, Bob, and get permission of those new trails just to make it convenient.
Okay. Mike, you have your hand up? Oh, I thought you were done, Tom.
Madam Chair, Mike, to understand that this map has trails that may or may not be completed and not groomable?
Yeah, so this is the draft. It has some trails. So on the previous map that we were looking at, this brown trail at the
Yeah.
bottom, which I'm pointing to it with a pen, which probably isn't very
Yeah.
helpful for you.
Yeah.
This this one right here is new. That's not on the previous map.
Correct.
This is not on
But
the
is it
previous map.
groomable? Is it
This
groomable?
I believe it is, Mike. My opinion on
Okay.
being on the groomer for the last couple of years, and I do believe that is groomable.
So are we here tonight to approve the latest map that is groomable for this Table Rock site versus using the old one that doesn't have all the trails that are on it?
Well,
Is that what we're talking about?
that is the question before us right now.
Okay.
It is going to be up to the commission to decide how to move forward. And I would love to hear
I'm
all
just
of
one
your
member
input.
here, and I would like new maps as they get done or get trails that get completed. Maps are redone so we can approve those. So if this is the latest for Table Rock, I'm willing to vote on this one if other commissioners see that might be a good thing to do to help Tom go through and groom this important site for people who walk and hike and snowshoe, not being a snowblower, not even being in Lunenburg during the snow time. I certainly want people to get outside as much as possible. So I'm certainly encouraging people to do that. And if our trails are groomed to invite people to do so, I'm willing to vote on that. And but once again, I'm just one commissioner.
Thank
And
you
I
so
also
much,
want to
Mike.
thank, and I also want to thank Bob for doing all the work that he's done for years on these trails, and he deserves kudos in my book for all the work he's done. And if this helps him realize some of the work that he's done, I certainly want to be willing to vote for that today.
Thank you, Mike. And I want to echo that. Bob is an invaluable member of the Lunenburg community. Okay, so do we have any other comments? Does anyone want to agree with Mike? Disagree with Mike? Look at this map? Or stick to a previous map? Do we have any motions? I knew this one was going to be.
I'll present the motion to approve this map since it's the latest and it's groomable. And until we get a newer map, I think it would be something that the commission should consider to approve, as these are sanctioned trails as far as we know on this map.
Okay, so it sounds like a motion to approve any trail that is on this map and is groomable without adding anything into the landscape. Is that fair, Mike?
Yep.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I would be willing to second that motion with the caveat that this map shows gray trails that are on private land, and that's not our jurisdiction to grant. But the yellow, orange, red, blue, and green on the green background of Lunenburg Conservation Land, that is our jurisdiction to grant. And so I would be willing to second the motion with that caveat. Mike,
okay.
If you're the original motion presenter, would
you
accept that?
I go along. I accept that. I was really looking at the colored trails and not considering the other ones, but including that brown trail, to
Yeah,
get
the
to
brown
the red
trail.
trail?
Yes, and the
Okay.
brown.
That's in the
Correct.
yellow.
Sounds
um,
great to me.
Outline of the, okay, so that sounds like Mike has the motion, Mary has the second. Mike and Mary has added a little bit to that motion. And we're in agreement, so can I go for a roll call vote, or should we make Mike redo the motion?
No, I think you can go for a roll call vote.
Okay, roll call vote. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and an aye for myself. Thank you so much, Tom, for grooming. I want you to know we really do appreciate all of the work that you do, and all of the trail work that you have done is an astounding amount of work. I just want to make sure that from now on, we're working together to make sure that they're done properly. But we really do appreciate everything that you're doing for the town. And then next year, let's start talking about this stuff a little bit earlier. And that way, and maybe we won't have to take up so much time in the meetings. So we'll try to get to it maybe before December.
That trail, Jen, that Bob was talking about, that goes over that existing trail that as far as I've been riding in Lunenburg for 7 to 10 years, the trail's always been there. I don't think it's approved. Could you go back to the Holman Street to the other map, or is that a huge inconvenience?
So the Holman Street map is hold on.
Just the one that.
So we've already voted on this, so we
okay.
can't
All right. So
go
that's
back, but
that's fine.
if it's
That's
not
fine.
on the map,
That's fine. Yeah.
then on this, and for this year, it just can't be groomed. But we're definitely next year, we'll have, there's so much in that property. That is such a huge property that I think that whatever you can get to on that property, people will be very happy with. And again, we appreciate all your efforts so much. All right, so are you good with everything we've gone over tonight, Tom?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, have a great night.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Okay. All right, so this feels weird to be going to public comments at 8:09, but up next we have public comment. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes and on a subject matter under the direct jurisdiction of the commission. Comments about current agenda items are to be made during the comment period of specific agenda item. Please address all comments to the chair. Do we have any members of the public on for a public comment? With a public comment? Does not appear that we do. Minutes of the 12/17/2025 meeting. Have we all had a chance to look at them? Should I take silence as a yes or a no?
Madam
Yes.
Chair, I would make a motion to approve the minutes from the 12/17 meeting.
Thank you, Mary. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Teddy. Okay, roll call vote. Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, meetings from 12/17/2025 have been approved. Up next, we have new public hearings. Pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing on a notice of intent by James Lilligren for a project that involves the upgrade of a failing sewage disposal system at 33 Gibson Street. I hope I did not butcher your name. I do see that it looks like we have the applicant on the call. Do we also have a representative, or will you be here speaking for yourself?
Yes,
Oh.
I am here representing Jim Liljegren, yes.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything you would like to go over?
Sure.
With us.
Should I share my screen or do you want to put that up?
Yep, you can share your screen.
Okay.
I love when people
thank
share their
you.
screens. And you should be able to do it. You have permission. Okay, looks like it's working.
Excellent. Um, well, as an introduction, my name is Dan Wolf. I'm with David Ross Associates and representing the owners of the property at 33 Gibson Street. This is the site of an existing single-family home, and it has been discovered that there is a failing septic system here. As you're looking at the plan there, the septic system, the leaching area itself is just to the right of the existing home, clouded out here between the house and the shed. It's between maybe 40 and 50 feet away from the wetland area itself. The wetlands are off to the east, eastern side of the property, and there's also wetlands to the north on the other side of Gibson Street. Those two wetland areas create a large portion of the property that is within the 100-foot buffer zone. The buffer zone is delineated by this dark dashed line here. We're also dealing with an existing well that's in the front yard, and Board of Health regulations require that we stay at least 100 feet away from that well, which is represented by the 100-foot diameter, I'm sorry, the 100-foot radius circle around the well. So what it came down to was there's just a small triangular area in the backyard that is available outside of the buffer zone as well as outside of the well radius. And that is a steep slope right there. And that is what resulted in us placing the septic system in the backyard as far away as possible from the wetlands itself. We were also constrained by the fact that the sewer line comes out under the basement floor, heading toward the wetlands itself, and we've captured that sewer line with a new septic tank and pump chamber that will then pump the effluent off and away from the wetland area to that location of the leaching area itself. So as you can see, we've got very tight constraints on this property, and we've done our best to keep everything as far away as possible. We do not propose any work within the 30-foot no disturb zone. And all activities that are proposed on the property will be enveloped by a filter sock that you can see here with another a bold dashed line that really comes from the end of the driveway and encompasses all of the disturbed areas that are proposed. This is a fairly flat backyard. It is all lawn, so it is a previously disturbed area, and the end result will be the septic system will also fit in nicely with the grades of the yard. This is not a mounded system. We're not creating any steep grades from the system that would possibly cause erosion. And the other thing I also wanted to mention, I didn't want you to think that I'm not being upfront. This is also a perennial stream that runs down and joins with Easter Brook. That stream, as well as Easter Brook itself, which is across the other side of the street, puts the entire lot within the riverfront zone as well. So we've really got all of the factors going on here, and I'm very happy with the way it came out from the standpoint that we did our best to keep everything away from the resource areas as much as possible. So if I could answer any of your questions, I'd be happy to.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from members of the commission? Mary, you have your hand up?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions. I do have comments. It seems like a very straightforward resolution to, a very real problem, right, of replacing a failed septic system. The drawings seem to match, the site conditions when we went out there and walked this weekend. So I don't have any questions. It seems fairly straightforward to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And I agree with that. You did, it looks like the best with what you had. And it seems very straightforward to me. Do we have any other questions for members of the commission? Do we have any questions from members of the public? Okay, do we have any motions?
Madam Chair, excuse me,
Ms.
I'm
Mary?
still trying to eat dinner. But yeah, I would make a motion to approve the plan as proposed. I guess one thing I haven't looked at is, do we have
think we're-
a DEP file number yet?
Yes,
Oh.
we do.
Okay. And were there any DEP comments? I don't think I recalled any.
There were no comments, no.
Okay. So thank you for that quick clarification. Yeah, I would make a motion to approve this as presented.
I
Okay,
second.
do I? All right, roll call vote. Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Motion is approved with the plan as drawn.
Great. Well, thank you very much. You've made that easy. I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
thanks so much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay,
Madam
up
Chair,
next-
if I could
oh,
just
yes.
add, I think the presenter, the project engineer, made it easy for us to do it by doing the
Yes.
due diligence and making it really clear.
Yes, thank you for that. We love
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you for saying that, Mary. I appreciate that very much.
All right. Up next, okay, oh, sorry. Up next, we have a new public hearing at 58 Spring Street. Pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A public hearing on notice of intent by D. Doobie Construction LLC, Daniel Doobie, for a project that involves the demolition of a patio to pour a concrete foundation, construct a screen porch, and the extension of a deck. They have requested to continue to the next meeting, which is, I thought about it in my head and then I forgot what it was. So that is January 21st, 2026. So do we have a motion to continue
So
as
moved.
requested? Do
Second.
we have a second? Okay,
Second.
oh, Teddy already seconded. All right, we have a,
Okay.
so
There's a little glitch in the audio.
in the matrix. Yeah, you were a little behind there. Your
Okay.
computer. It was like you talked and then your mouth moved. All right, roll call vote. Andrea Burnap,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. All right, you talked and your mouth moved at the same time there. That time, Mike. Okay, so up next we have continued public hearings. I'll hear pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. Continued public hearing at 480 Mulpus Road. Public hearing on a request for determination of applicability by Kenneth McNamara for a project that involves construction of a shed approximately. It says approximately 75 to 100 feet from the edge of the stream. It is now 112 feet from the edge of the stream. The shed will be set on a concrete blocks that are 8 by 8 by 4. Do we have the applicant on the call? It doesn't look like we do. He did upload a new plan showing the project area. I will pull that up. 480 Mulpus. And we share. Can everybody see my screen? Is that a yes?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, it took a second.
Okay. So it looks like they're looking to put it here. There's a little picture here, but the line is showing 112 feet here. We don't have the applicant here, but we can still talk about the plan if anybody has any questions or comments.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Was this the last remaining action
Yes.
item?
Yep. So Herlin went out and helped him plot this out. I do have the notes here from Herlin. Give me 1 second. I have too many papers behind me. I have the notes. They're in my hands. Okay. This is, oh, they might be from notes from, I think we have notes in the here too. No, actually, no, it is here. 40, okay. Site visit performed on 12/15. Determine location of shed. Current location of proposed shed sits with 80 feet of intermittent stream. We agreed to a different location about 112 feet from the stream, 12 feet out of the buffer zone. Although technically, is it 12 feet out of the buffer? It's out of a buffer zone. The applicant agreed and we staked out the location, recommended special conditions, install erosion controls downslope prior to construction, no stockpiling of materials within 50 feet of the intermittent stream. Any excavated soil shall be removed from the buffer zone the same day. All disturbed areas shall be stabilized immediately following construction. The shed shall remain an unheated accessory structure with no plumbing or utilities without further review. No vegetation clearing beyond the work area is permitted. And a pre-construction erosion control inspection by the conservation agent is required. Do we have any questions about any of those comments or conditions?
No questions from me, Madam Chair. I'd be ready to move forward when you are.
Okay, do we have a
Sounds-
motion?
Motion to approve the plan as presented with a clarification here that you're showing, and with the conditions as recommended by the Conservation Commission Administrator.
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. So that is approved. I will let Herlin know. All right, thank you. All right, so up next, go back to my other notes. And my other. Where did it go? This one. Okay. Too much stuff. We have a continued public hearing for pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A continued public hearing at 30 Summer Street on a notice of intent by Safe Store Real Estate Co. LLC for a project that includes floodplain fill and associated compensatory floodplain compensation. We were notified by the engineer today that they would like an extension to the next meeting, which is, I already forgot the date. I believe
21st.
it's the 21st. Yes, thank you. Which is January 21st, 2026. Do I have a motion to continue?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself continue to the next meeting. Up next, we have another continued public hearing pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. Public hearing on a notice of intent at 763 Northfield Road by the Town of Lunenburg DPW for the replacement of the deteriorated culvert at Northfield Road crossing over Mulpus Brook. Do we have the applicant on the call? It looks like we do. Oh, I think you might be, it doesn't say you're muted, but you're talking and I'm not hearing anything. There we go. I think I heard something.
Got it now?
Yes, there you are.
Sorry about that. Matt Lunstead, Comprehensive Environmental for the Department of Public Works.
Okay.
We uploaded revised plans that were discussed, changes that were discussed last meeting have been made to two of the sheets. Did anyone have questions on those, or should I share real quick?
It would be great if you could share them.
So this, can everyone see that?
We can, or I can.
Yeah.
You shouldn't talk for everybody else.
This is revised sheet C2A. If you recall, the buffer zone offsets were not shown correctly. I'm hoping they are now. And if you recall, this was also where we added the limit of work to this sheet. Because of the nature of the wetlands, obviously on both sides, we're pretty much within everything in previously disturbed area.
Hi.
So if there were,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you are. Please keep talking.
Okay. If everyone's okay, I'll go to the other sheet.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on this before he moves to the next sheet?
Madam Chair, no question, but just a comment. It does look a lot more relevant. I mean, it seems like all the concerns that I had about the buffer zones being cut right through the middle of a wetland have been resolved.
I agree. All right. Does anyone else have any questions before we go on to the next plan? Drawing? Okay. Yeah, let's move on to the next one, please.
Excellent. I'm going to note I'm a little jealous of Mike's background.
We all are.
Trees.
He does it.
I wish we were all
make
in
us
that kind of weather. It's inspiring though, so thank you.
Yeah.
Here's the other sheet, W1A, and the edits on this sheet were from the comments from DEP about energy dissipation at any of our outlets. So we did two things. We amended the leader. This was our temporary dewatering if we need it from well points to do the work in the dry behind the cofferdams. And this is the bypass system, hopefully a gravity siphon system. And we did add to the general notes, I can zoom in. I think I captured everything we talked about at the last meeting in these, adding the general notes so that we're covered for any discharges the contractor may have to make.
Looks like everything that we talked about.
So that was that. Those were the changes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say Mary has her hand up.
As I recall, there was a replication area proposed, and that's not jumping out to me where that is. Was there a replication area proposed?
we zoom in, that's right here. This is on that other sheet, back to 2A.
Okay, and what are the dimensions of that? Is that unchanged?
That is unchanged. I'm not sure we put in, yeah, about 30 square feet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
So the last piece of what we uploaded basically memorialized the discussion we had about DEP's comments last meeting, and I actually attached the right of entry we sent to the abutter so that DEP could see that, and that's uploaded on their system. I've not heard anything back. We don't usually, I think they leave it up to you guys if you're satisfied. And the last piece is Bill has not received a signed form as of this morning.
Okay. I'm not really
And
sure what
that's
the, oh, sorry. Were you gonna say?
and that's everything I had, unless there are any other questions.
I'm not sure how we would move forward without permission from the property owner. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Madam Chair,
Yep.
we cannot grant permission to do work or to provide access on an adjacent piece of property. And since this project proposal actually has those conditions on it, I don't think we can approve it without getting that permission. I for one don't have any other concerns about the project as proposed, except for that missing abutter access permission.
Nor do I. Is it just the certified mail that has gone out as far as you know?
So they were notified as an abutter and obviously haven't attended. And we also sent that certified mail, just the right of entry form. Bill would like us, if that's the last thing we need, he'd like us to mail another one. This is a little bit unusual for us. Normally the abutter's there and we can knock on their door and, point and say, we're going to do work right there to fix the culvert and regrade and install a head wall. We're there in a different town. Obviously, it's up to Bill, I guess, if he wants us to go knocking on doors. It's a little unconventional, but I think if you're amenable and you're okay with continuing, and this is the only outstanding item, we'll mail another set and get with Bill about if mailing doesn't work, what next steps are.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. I mean, that would be okay with me. I can't speak for the entire commission. Also, I'll see Bill tomorrow night. Maybe I can see what he thinks too while I'm with him. Mary, you have your hand up?
Madam Chair, I would be amenable to that. I would just, as a best practice to say out loud is that, I don't think it, from my perspective anyway, just speaking as one commissioner, it wouldn't make sense to hold hearings on this until that extra piece of documentation comes in. And so for that purpose, I think it would be important while that documentation is still pending for the engineer or Bill to notify us, 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever your mandate is on making certain that, for asking for an additional continuance so that we can minimize the amount of extra time we have in holding this on the agenda is open. Thank you.
We can do that.
Just my recommendations.
Thank you, Mary.
That works for us.
Okay, so I just want to be clear that I understand what you're saying, Mary. Are you saying that we should not have it on the agenda until they ask us to put it back on the agenda?
No, Madam Chair, I think
Oh.
it needs to be on the agenda for tracking
Just to let us know to
purposes.
continue it.
Yeah, just let us know
Okay.
to continue it because we really need to be continuing only under their their consent.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. So it sounds like I'd be looking for a motion to continue to our next meeting, which is January 21st, 2026.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
All right. Roll call. Was that Mike with the second?
think so. I think
Okay.
I was.
All right. Roll call vote. Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay. Hopefully we will see you at the next meeting with permission, but if not, just let us know.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Thank you so much.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
You too.
Good night, Matt.
Okay, up next, continue public hearing pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. On the next page, a public hearing on a notice of intent by Steve Bean for a project that involves the demolition of an existing cottage and construction of replacement house and deck on the property at 27 Fire Road 15A. The applicant has requested to continue to the January 21st meeting. Do I have a motion to continue?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, is Mary with the motion and Teddy with the second? Roll call vote. Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche.
Aye.
Okay, oh, you were glitching again. Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, moving on to administrative determinations. Up first, we have 833 Flat Hill Road. And that is a administrative determination. The last notes I have for this were site visit requested in January. They wanted to continue until today. Do we have the applicant on the call? Does not look like we do. Okay. Up next, we have 8 Iris Court, CAD 25-22. And it looks like we have the applicants on the call. Can you state your name and your address for us?
It's Ed Wexner, 8 Iris Court, Lunenburg, Mass.
And Diane Wexner, 8 Iris Court, Lunenburg.
Thank you so much. I'm going to start out by reading our administrator's notes, our agent's notes. So it said the tree appears to exhibit decline, including upper crown dieback and structural concerns. The white pine exhibits signs of decline and is positioned such that failure could pose risk to the residents. Plant 2 native trees, for example, white pine, red maple, or black gum, elsewhere on the lot within 20 feet of the existing tree line, or plant a cluster of native shrubs, minimum 4 to 6, to maintain buffer integrity. All work must occur with equipment operating from upland, avoiding disturbance to the 30 and 50-foot buffer zones to the maximum extent feasible. Stump may remain in place to maintain soil stability unless grinding is necessary. Applicant must notify the Conservation Office 48 hours prior to removal. Does that all sound right to you? Do you have anything that you would like to add to that, or anything that you'd like to share with us?
It's just regarding the planting of trees. We've got a pretty heavy
Canopy.
canopy through the backyard. In fact, I've got a slide that I would like to share if I could,
Absolutely.
showing the canopy. Can I go ahead and hit share?
Yep. Please do.
Oh, where's my slide? I'm sorry, let me get to the right slide. There it is here. So you can see the canopy area here. It's quite large. We've got many, many pine trees of, I mean, we're talking 60 and 90-foot pine trees throughout this canopy here. The majority of them are on each side of the property. And we also have a small pine tree that we planted, I would say, let me get to the right picture. Oh, I don't have that picture. It's 10 feet tall. And we planted it about 7 years ago, and we thought maybe that might take the place of taking this pine tree down. Again, we have a huge canopy of trees in the back. We've probably got about 14 or 15 pine trees that are 60 to 90 feet tall. And I'm not sure there's quite a need to plant another tree. So I'm just questioning whether we need to do that.
Madam
Okay, and
Chair?
it's one tree that you're looking to remove.
Well, this is the tree right here. You can see it. And then if you
Can't see.
notice in back of it, it's between this tree and the lake, there's a multi-stem maple. And you can see that the main trunk of that is dead. The top broke off a couple of years ago. This whole thing is dead. And there's a few more branches in here that we'd also like to clean out while we're taking this tree out.
I want to make sure I'm looking at the right picture. Is it the one that says 9:19 a.m. on it?
9/17.
Okay, so I think you have the wrong picture on the screen. Mary, you have your hand up. Oh, actually, Mike,
I
did
was
you?
going to say exactly the same thing. I'm just seeing the 9:19 a.m. slide. I didn't see any movement of slides or anything.
When you want it, what you can do is, unless you know how to use Zoom, you can unshare and then reshare. And then Mike, did you say something?
Yeah, I was having a similar issue. I couldn't see the tree in question.
Okay.
All of these look
Wow.
like healthy trees,
Yeah.
which is, I'm sure, what he meant.
Well, let me bring up the tree map. We put a map together here showing the locations of the trees on the property. This is the tree that we're asking to take down. It's 47 feet from the home, and it's 90 feet tall.
I'm not seeing that yet, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're still not seeing this?
Yeah, we're still on the 9:19 a.m.
I'm wondering why I'm not sharing then.
You're sharing, but it's a picture with a lot of trees in it. And it says 9:19 a.m. Would you like me to share?
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Good.
Okay. All right. All right, let me share. I'm thinking is this the one that you were trying to show us?
No, I'm not seeing
We don't see
anything.
this. Maybe unshare yours, Ed.
Oh my goodness.
And
Sorry
then,
about this.
yeah, no worries.
I'm trying-
If
I'm trying-
you minimize all of our faces, sometimes that'll make my screen pop up on your screen. But it's a
Oh, wait a minute,
picture
let me-
and it has a very tall, did you say maple tree? I'm not an expert, especially on trees that I can't tell what kind of leaves they have.
It looks like a pine.
Pine, okay,
It's fine, yeah.
someday.
Well, I'm sorry, I totally lost everything now. Oh my God.
So are you seeing at the bottom of your screen a little icon that says ZM?
Yes, Liam.
Okay, so if you click on that, or if you hover over it, you might see some screens pop up. And one of them might have like our faces or a blank screen, and the other one might have my screen. Or even you could just try clicking on that and seeing if it brings anything up for you.
Well, we could see some of your faces, but we can't see the shot of the tree.
Okay, so if you can, where you can see our faces, do you see how there is just a dash And if you hover over it, it says hide thumbnail video.
Oh, all right.
If
Well,
you
now we're back.
minimize, oh, yep.
We're back to the original picture that you couldn't see, but we could see.
Yeah, but now I think you're
I'm-
looking at my screen. Do you see me moving the mouse?
No. No, we're only looking at unfortunately, my screen.
Is
Madam
anything
Chair, why
changing?
don't you change? Yeah, you just did change for a second.
Can you see the screen changing now?
Yes.
Okay, then you're looking at my screen. So this
No.
is, I'm sharing that picture now that you were trying to share. I hope. Did you see it get bigger?
No,
Oh,
Wow.
I'm so sorry. This is
this is terrible. Sorry
Yeah,
about
so
this.
sorry.
We're just kind of inept at some of this stuff, so.
Not a problem at all. So
So
If you click
there's
on-
a multi-stem maple that's behind the tree the big pine tree that we want to have taken down.
yep,
And within that multi-stem, there are several trunks that are the one that's completely dead. It broke in half a couple years ago, and then the rest of it's still in the clump, but it's dead. And there's another branch or two in there that need to be trimmed out as well. So we'd like to trim those, get that trimmed as well at the same time.
okay. So, and that is the scope of the work is the tree, the very tall tree that's in the picture that says 917 on it. And then also trimming of the multi-stem tree that's behind it
Yes.
Yes.
and just trimming on the multi-stem tree.
Well, we're gonna have to cut down the trunk of the dead trunk on that tree, and then do some pruning on the rest of the rest of the stems that are there, where the dead branches are.
Okay, I'm just kind of going through some of the pictures that have been shared.
Madam Chair, there
And-
is actually a site diagram with tree placement in
Yes.
the uploaded files.
That's what
it
I was
just,
trying to show you.
Yeah, it just looks like when you start out, it just looks like a bunch of photos, but then there's an aerial photo, and then there's actually a site map with kind of a site plan of where the existing trees. Yeah, there we go.
Thank
Do
you,
you
Mary.
That's
see that
helpful.
now? Do you see the site plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's
So that multi-stem, if you can see where the red dot is, where the big pine tree is, right behind it is the multi-stem maple. And that's where we want to do some trimming and cut down the dead trunk on that.
Okay.
And then when Hurlin was out doing the site inspection, there's also another white pine. It's a 60-foot white pine. It's 13 inches in diameter. It's showing the same deterioration. And she's got a picture of it in her site visit plan. She's got like 7 pictures in there. It's the 5th picture. If you pull that up, you can see the yellowing of the pine needles, a lot of dead branches in the middle of the tree, and then the bark is splitting. And that's about 22 feet from the house, so it also could pose another danger to the property, to the house. We'd like to take that down as well while we're going to do the other pine tree.
Okay. Mary, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. With regard to the multi-stem maples that need to be trimmed, how many of those trunks need to come out that are damaged? Are you taking all of those multi-stem maples out? Or are you going to leave 4 of the stems or some of them?
Because we got to do some heavy removing of a couple of those trunks. I mean, if you tell me we can take them all out, I would take them all out. If not, then I would take the 2 out that are the 2 that are dead.
Thank you. No, I wasn't proposing to grant one way or the other. I just wanted clarity on what you were asking.
Okay.
And looking at the diagram, that wasn't exactly clear to me. But it sounds like there are two that are damaged, and so you want to take out 2 of those trunks, if you will, out of that multi-stem maple
Yeah.
that's shown there. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mary.
And then
Um,
while we're on this map, if you look straight up from the red dot, the tree that we're taking out, the white pine, you'll see a white pine 10-foot with a diameter that should be 6 inches, not 6 feet. That's the white pine I was telling you that we planted several years ago that we thought would be a replacement for the one that we're taking down.
Okay, and that tree is doing well?
That tree is doing well, yes.
Do we have any other questions from members of the commission? So the white pine that is 60 feet with a 13-inch diameter, is that the one that's kind of straight out from the corner
Yes.
of the house?
Yes,
And you're looking to take that one down also?
yes.
Okay, and it looks like you have a note up in the corner. There are existing smaller trees that will grow to replace the white pine to be removed. Okay, do we have any other questions from members of the commission?
No, you don't have any other
No, I don't have
questions?
any questions now.
Okay, do any of the commission members have any questions?
No, Madam Chair.
Do we have any motions one way or the other?
Madam Chair, I don't have a motion and I don't have a question. I kind of have a comment.
Yeah.
So it would be even better if, right? And a lot of times we have to work in non-ideal kind of situations. It would be even better if the 2 white pines that were going to be removed, the drawing was updated to add clarity there, and there was some clarity added about removing the 2 stems specifically out of the multi-stem maple. I wouldn't have concerns if those updates were done, but I'm an engineer. I like things to be in drawings so there's no ambiguity and it minimizes the opportunity for misunderstandings.
Okay, agreed. So,
Well, I have a comment though. I would think with the map location here that isn't that basically telling you what you're asking?
So the map location has, first off, it's a really good diagram, and I love really good diagrams, passionate about those. The only thing that's unclear or ambiguous in my mind is the actual tree work that's being proposed. So usually red means something's coming out, right? And so we see that with the original proposed white pine that you want to remove, but all the other ones are green, including the 60-foot DBH 13-inch one, and the multi-stem maples are that I think the ones there are 2 sets of multi-stem maples there, and they're all shown in green too, and so I think it would make it crystal clear if the white pine 60-foot DBH 13 inches was also red. And then the multi-stem maples either had some red attached to them or a note that 2 trunks were proposed to be removed.
So what you're suggesting is I resubmit this map again and just put a red dot where the green dots are? And that would suffice?
It would for me, but I'm also I'm only one voice, and sometimes I'm more conservative than my colleagues, and sometimes my colleagues are more conservative than me. So I think, to be fair, we should let them say their concerns. They may be less concerned about this than me.
Well, if I could just comment, these were suggestions too that Herlin made to us when she came out, when she noticed these trees. And that was a comment that she made to us.
And I think Herlin has excellent advice, and would have no problem with you guys wanting to follow it. I just think the thing that we approve should be unambiguous.
Um, I do agree with that. What would you think, Mary, about submitting an updated plan to Herlin? Are we doing like a conditional approval? Not a conditional approval, but approving based with the condition that the plan be updated? So they
Oh,
wouldn't have
prior to
come
work?
to a meeting? Yeah,
Sure,
okay.
that seems
way
reasonable.
And that way you wouldn't have to come back. You could just update it and then Herlin could look at it and, give her approval there. And then that would be a good compromise, I think.
So just to be clear, so I'm not doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. Put the red dots where the red dots need to be. And then what?
What's a note?
You said a note saying what?
For the maple, I would say just a note pointing to it saying, what exactly it is you want to do. If you want to remove those two trunks that are having an issue, just say 2 trunks to be removed, put them in red. And then a red dot on the white pine instead of a green dot. And then just before you do the work, have Herlin just give her approval on it. And that way you don't have to come back to a meeting. And I can help, if the commission agrees to it, I can let Herlin know that that's something to be expecting.
So can I go in the original submittal that I made and make the changes in the map and put the comments
Yep.
in there then?
Absolutely. Or you can download it, change it, re-upload it.
Okay,
And then we just need to talk to Herlin.
send
Yep.
it to Herlin.
And I'll
Okay,
let
I
her
just
know.
want-
Yeah, so when you upload it, she'll get a notification that it's been uploaded. And I'll let her know to look for it.
Okay,
Okay,
okay. I understand.
Okay, so we actually have to make sure the rest of the commission agrees that that would be a good path forward. Do we have any motions?
Madam Chair, as long as nobody
Yes.
has a concern, I would be willing to make a motion to approve the removal of the white pine 60-inch DBH 13 as shown on the drawing, the white pine 90-foot 2.6 feet DBH, 2 trunks from the multi-stem maples, 50-foot average DBH 11 inches as shown on the drawing directly to the right of the 90-foot white pine, with the conditional condition that the applicants actually update the drawing to reflect what I just said. Yeah, I would be willing to make that motion and so I'm not making a proposal that they do any replication or replace plantings.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
Okay, I'm gonna take Teddy on that one. Okay, so roll call vote, Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. So that would just be update the plan, re-upload it. I'll let Herlin know that that's gonna happen, and then we're not recommending any replacement plantings either. So it should be a pretty easy path forward.
And she'll contact us after she reviews it.
Yeah, she'll probably put notes. It sounds like you get the emails from the portal.
Yes.
So, she'll put notes in with what the next steps are.
Okay,
well, thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Yep,
You too, thank you.
Okay, let me go through my notes here. Up next, an administrative determination at 41.
Yeah, I got screwed up on the camera.
At 41 Hilltop Lane. Do we have the applicant on the call for 41 Hilltop Lane? All right, it does not appear that we do. So I will move on from that one. We don't have any
Madam Chair, may I
Yep.
ask a question? Do
Oh. Notes.
do the applicants have to attend for administrative determinations?
That is true. I do have notes for this, so let me go over them. 4 trees were observed to be dead, exhibiting extensive branch dieback and lack of live foliage. The trees appear structurally compromised and no longer viable. Due to their location and condition, these trees pose a potential risk of failure, with the likelihood of falling toward nearby structures and causing property damage. Tree removal shall be limited to the 4 dead trees identified during the site visit. Stumps shall remain in place and shall not be ground or excavated. All work shall be conducted using best management practices to minimize disturbance to surrounding soils and vegetation. No equipment staging, stockpiling, or debris disposal shall occur within resource areas. Any additional tree removal beyond what is authorized will require further review by the conservation agent or conservation commission. Those sound like very clear words. Clear, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, that sounds very clear. There we go. Does anyone have any questions on that? There are probably pictures that I can share.
Madam Chair, did you?
I would like to see the pictures.
Yeah, I saw a diagram uploaded that shows 2 trees, but I thought you read that there were 4
trees.
proposed.
Yeah. Could be a typo. Let's take a look. Oh, 25 dash. Oh yeah, this one had 2. So, and one was location of proposed work relative to the wetlands. And then, oh, I should probably hit share.
There, the applicant uploaded 3 tree images. I thought I only saw 2 here.
Yeah, there's definitely only 2 here. Let's see what else we have.
And that one's named Tree 1.
Yeah. Very sepia. And then we have tree 2. We have tree 3 here.
Yeah.
We don't have a tree 4. Tree number 2. And then tree number 3. Okay. And then there's some more down here. I wonder if when Harlan went out, she identified another tree. It sounds like it's tough to tell from these pictures compared to the other pictures, what's what, because these ones are much more clear. If anyone needs me to slow down or stop or has questions, let me know. So this is the same one we were just looking at before, I believe. Oh, I think that this is, have we seen that one yet? I can't, hold on, let's go
I
back.
think that's one of the sepia trees.
No.
Oh, it's
That
not?
big, that large tree.
I thought it was like, is it not Tree 2?
Okay, it's definitely not that one.
No.
I do feel like I saw it. Let's see.
That one.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
that one.
Tree 1.
So,
Yeah, looks like there's not many branches that are alive on that one.
Yeah, so we have
And I'm
we have
assuming
three
that's a
trees.
marker on the tree. The tree doesn't look that red, does it?
No, I think that's a highlighter of some sort.
Okay.
Okay, so we have 4 trees marked here for Herlin. And we have 3 trees in pictures. We also have more trees here, but I am not a tree expert. I'm also gonna have 1,000 tabs open by the end of this. Let's try to reuse some of these ones rather than
Oh,
going through.
that looks pretty gone.
This one? Mary, you have your hand
Oh.
up.
Yeah, the applicant had originally contacted me, and I redirected her to you and Herlin. So I went back and looked at, and she's been trying to do this, gosh, since the end of November. But anyway, she said she was in need of removing 2 large trees that were dead on her property. So I think that what you originally hypothesized is probably true, that the applicant identified 2 and Herlin went out and identified some additional ones. But I do think that we should have like some clarity on exactly which trees are proposed to be removed.
Okay.
This tree,
Would
your question, right in front of us, has a pink ribbon around it,
yeah,
but you
so
can't
that
really
one,
tell. Yes,
sorry, keep going. I say that one I think is definitely marked for
to go.
removal. Yeah.
But I
This
can't tell by this picture that tree has any issues. I mean, maybe toward the top it does, but we can't tell by this picture that tree has any issues.
the bark looks very healthy.
Looks very healthy.
It is very close to their house though.
But not any, it's further away than the one that's even closer to the house.
I know. It's basically in their house.
Right.
That could be one of the ones they're trying to remove though. So where we don't have a clear picture, would we be like, should we look to continue this and get, I know that the person has been trying to get this done. Maybe we could ask them to come in and put them up first on the next meeting? Or does anybody else have any better ideas?
Madam Chair, I think that's a fine suggestion. But I for one would really like to see like it doesn't have to be an elegant image or diagram, but at least some kind of diagram that shows where these trees are relative to, the buildings and the shoreline and whatnot. And it would also be nice if you could, in the interim, get clarification from our administrator on, exactly how many trees she thinks were damaged, right? And to make certain that jives with the diagram the applicant provides on how many that they're proposing to remove.
Okay, yep, I think that sounds fair. Does anyone have any other ideas? Okay, so do I have a motion to continue? And I will have this application put on as an appointment for the next meeting.
Motion to continue to the next meeting, which I believe is January
So-
21st.
All right, second.
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
okay, Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, and I will ask Herlin for some guidance on if those notes are really for, and then ask her to have them show up at the beginning of the next hearing. And it sounds like maybe you may have communication with them Mary, if you want to let them know how this went, if you are.
I can do that, Madam Chair.
Okay. Okay. So continue to January 21st, 2026. Okay, up next, we have no extension request permits. We do have a certificate of compliance for 143 Island Road. This is, I think that we have, do we have notes on this one from the last meeting? We don't. I thought this is one I remember. I do see the applicant, it looks like, has come on the meeting. Would you mind stating your name and your address?
So it's Michelle Salas and it's about 143 Island Road in Lunenburg.
Okay. And if I recall, is this the one that has a certificate, order of conditions from like 1985?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it's my grandfather's house that I'm trying to purchase. And my attorney is recommending that this conditions of order gets closed before we continue with purchasing it.
Okay. Do
And
you have anything?
my grandfather's not here because he had passed away. So
Okay. Do you have anything that you'd like to share with us, or tell me the?
So my dad went to the town. My dad went to the town and pulled the permit to try to figure out exactly what the condition was for because we were struggling. I spoke to the town a few times to try to actually figure out what it was. And he worked with Brian over there in the building department, and he found out that the permit was for the garage, to the best of our knowledge, I would say. And the garage has been standing for the past 40 years and in great condition. And he was able to find the permit, which I do have a copy of it, which I'm happy to share, showing that the permit was signed off by the Conservation Committee back in 1985.
Okay.
Would you like
yeah,
to
if you'd
see?
like to share that with us, that would be great.
Sure. Hold on. I gotta figure out how to do all this. Hold on. You want to give your
I also did find, I went through some old records and found that the sewer betterment for that neighborhood also happened on the same day as the order of conditions. I don't know
What was
if
it?
they were a sewer betterment. So the sewer was brought into that neighborhood, it looks like, in 1985,
For
around the
like
same time.
for the service for like the utilities, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Fine. So it could have had something to do with that as well. We were just really trying to find the record of what it was for, and this is what
Contemporary.
that we could try to link to the dates to try to figure out what the order was for, because there was really no record of what the order was about. But you can see that the permit was roughly around the same date. And it was stating that they were building the garage. And then on the bottom here, it does show that it's been approved and signed off by the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
So we're hoping
And
to
it's
get
a copy of decision forthcoming. I think the dates line up too, because I think the order itself was
June
July.
15th. I think it was June. I have June 11th.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any questions for members of the commission?
Madam Chair, so this form is and these signatures represent approval, or
So
a
we do
certificate of
also have,
compliance, or what do these signatures indicate?
that's the building permit. So there
Okay.
is an order of conditions on this property from 1985. And I'll share that on my screen.
Do you want me to stop sharing?
I think I'll just take it over.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So this is the order of conditions. Notice of intent for a project was filed on May 22nd. Public hearing was closed on June 11th, which does correspond to the sewer betterment that happened in that area, but I don't know if you would have to even get an order of conditions for a sewer betterment because the town is doing that. But this is the order of conditions. It does not say it's storm damage prevention is checked off, but it does not say what the order is for.
Correct. So that's what we were really trying to investigate to try to match up some dates to try to figure it out.
Also, DEP file number 208-100, which is We're still in 208 dash, but we're like way far. So that's like one of the first ones it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, so that's the only I tried to do some digging here. Herlin did go out to the site
Oh, she
and
did.
said, yeah, and she said that everything looked stabilized there. 40 years later? No.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And that's all I have. That's all my visibility on this. Do we have any other questions for members of the commission? Do we have any? I mean, personally, I think that we could move forward with closing out this order based on Harlan's suggest. She didn't give us any notes on this one, but I did talk to her about it last week. She said that the site is stable. There's no work that has happened anytime recently where we can't tell what the actual application was for. The entire area in the buffer zone is intact and stabilized. Mary, you have your hand up?
Well, I would make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance based on the Conservation Administrator's site walk visit and her confirmation that all the orders of conditions have been met.
Do I have a second?
I have a second. Mike?
All right. Thank you, Mike. Roll call vote. Andrea Burnout,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, so Harlan will, we'll let her know that we voted to close out that order and issue a certificate of compliance.
Okay, thank you.
And then
And
she will,
will it come up on the portal or how would I be notified?
I think, so that, I believe that they send by certified mail, but they will let
Okay.
you know, or
Okay.
you can come pick it up. So they'll
Okay,
call you
perfect.
when they do it. And Mike in the office, Michael, is usually really good. He may even have it ready for you tomorrow.
Okay,
I can't
perfect. That'd be
promise
awesome.
that.
No, it's
but
okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. I don't have a lot of life left in me right now, but let's keep rolling on. Feels like it's 12 o'clock to me right now. All right. So enforcements. I have no updates on any of the enforcements. 98 Horizon Island Road is on as a emergency certification. So they were here at the last meeting and they were going to have some trees taken down and then come back for permission for an emergency certification. I don't see them here though. Let me just check the application.
Chair,
Yep.
the application, there are photos and there's a diagram. It all looks very straightforward to me.
Okay, that's it. Thank you for being on that. Okay. Let me just share it so that everybody can see what you're looking at. I already forgot the address. It is
98 Horizon Island Road.
Island. I'm in the chair. Okay, so attachments and okay, that is a big gouge. And then also, I do have actually notes here from this one.
The big crack and that
Yeah.
tree on the right.
Yep. So I'll make it a little bit bigger. Maybe. There we go. That is quite a crack. Herland's
That's quite
notes
a-
say tree with a split trunk is deemed a hazard tree and presents an imminent risk, public safety and property. Removal of this tree is warranted to prevent potential injury or damage. In addition to the primary tree hazard tree, several nearby mature trees are observed to contain dead, rotted, and/or compromised branches. Branches appear structurally unsound and pose risks or ongoing safety concern, particularly during winter snow events. While the tree crew is mobilized on site, the removal of dead, rotted, or hazardous branches from adjacent trees is considered reasonable and appropriate as a preventative safety measure, provided that such work is limited to pruning and does not result in additional ground disturbance or expanded tree removal beyond what is necessary to address safety concerns. Tree removal and pruning shall be conducted using best management practices to minimize disturbance to surrounding soils and resource areas. No staging, equipment storage, or debris stockpiling shall occur within resource areas. All work shall be limited to the removal of the identified hazard tree and selective pruning of visibly dead or rotted branches on nearby trees. No additional tree removal is authorized without further review by the conservation agent or conservation commission. So those are Herland's notes on this property. Do we have any questions?
Madam Chair, are you prepared to accept a motion?
I am.
I would move or make a motion that we approve the tree removal and damaged branch pruning as articulated in the proposal by the applicant and further amplified by the administrative as our conservation committee administrator amplified in her notes.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Mary.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Andrea Burnap,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Under new business, unless anyone has any thoughts otherwise, I don't think we have anything on the first three. Do we have any new topics unknown? Or bylaw destruction or MAC training takeaways? Doesn't look like it. For the notification of well abandonment, I did finally talk to Herland about that. And if everyone remembers this one or does not, let me do a quick share of that. Maybe if my screen wants to. Right now I'm having issues. Okay. So let me pull it up first because it was in meeting notes. Here it is. So this was a notification that we received about well abandonment. If I recall, it was next to the Subaru dealership, if that sounds right. And so I spoke to Herland.
Madam Chair, there
yeah.
are two Subaru dealerships.
The one with the new Subarus, not the.
So I think it's the one that's closest to the intersection of 2A and Route 13.
That's 141, 451 Mass Ave.
Right.
Yeah. So they are proposing to a final well abandonment. And so I spoke to Herland, and she said that what they're proposing is the best way to handle these type of wells. What they do is they pull pipes out of it and then they fill it in. That way, nothing can get out and nothing can get in. I know I'm not explaining this the best. It's actually explained pretty well right here that Proposed work entails removing an existing vertical 1 to 2 inch diameter PVC monitoring well points and abandoning backfilling the respective 1 to 2 inch diameter borehole voids to grade to limit future ground subsidence and eliminate any surface water entry pathway to the underlying groundwater. This proposed minor activity will not remove, fill, dredge, or alter that area and is therefore not considered subject to the regulation per 310 CMR for the wells located adjacent to the unnamed stream and within the wetland boundary. The monitoring wells being abandoned within the 100-foot wetland buffer zone are considered minor activities and exempt from performance standards of the wetland regulations. So Herlin said that that the way that she reads that, she understands that to be true, and that this is the best way to handle this. She sees this in Fitchburg. She didn't say often, but where there were a lot of mills that were dumping into the river that had things like this, she was familiar with this practice. So there's nothing for us to vote on here. According to Herlin, this is straightforward to her, unless anyone has any other comments or doesn't seem like it. Okay, so we can, I guess, move that off of the agenda moving forward, but now we have like a little bit of clarification for our purposes if we ever see something like this again. Any comments otherwise? Okay. Lunenburg April Earth Days. Mary, did you want to speak to this?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So for like the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or so, I've kind of been a champion of Lunenburg April Earth Days. And sometimes Lunenburg's Parks Department has participated, sometimes not. Very often we've had the support of, the municipal departments. The police department's been a really big supporter. The NHS students at the high school have been really great supporters. And we have just an awful lot of wonderful volunteers around town. This year, I won't be able to be in a leadership position for this, but I, would hate for the practice to go away. I'm happy to be a volunteer supporter, right? I'm just not in a position to, lead the rallying charge and do the herding of cats and whatnot. So I wanted to socialize that, see if anybody else was interested, see if anybody was interested in raising their hand to be in a more leadership role. When I sent this to you, Madam Chair, I also copied Herlin. Herlin said that she was very interested in helping out with this as well. So that also is an exciting prospect. But that's where we are with that.
And I don't want to interrupt you, but I would like to also add that Herlin was offered the position as our conservation agent in Lunenburg, and she has accepted. And it was ratified last night at the select board meeting, and Mary went and spoke for her in my place because I was unable to, and I really appreciate Mary doing that. And she did a wonderful job. And also we are just thrilled to have Herlin be coming on as our agent, because obviously you can tell her quality of work. She's just fantastic. So we are going to have, her official start date is February 9th, because she's, obviously giving her work, her current job, some time to have support. And I appreciate that. And so yeah, February 9th, we will have a fully staffed office. Mike, you have your hand up.
I just going back to, when is Earth Day in this year?
Sometime, usually April 22nd.
Yeah, it's usually like the 22nd or 28th or something like that. And what we've done in the past is I've tried to kind of coordinate, anybody that had a project in town that they wanted to put forward and sponsor, and try to schedule it throughout the month of April, so that we, on the weekends, people could choose a project on a Saturday morning when they were available, or a Saturday afternoon when they were available, or, Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, so that we got kind of the maximum coverage across the town. Also with the, there are a lot of volunteers who are parents, right? But spring break comes around the third week in April, and they're out of town for 2 weekends, right? So pulling some of them earlier in the month gave us access to some willing volunteers who just weren't available later in the month when Earth Day, actually fell. Anyway, that's a long-winded answer to your question, Mike. Sorry about that.
And I do think, Mike, we had there was one at the pollinator habitat last
That's
year for
right.
Earth
There
Day. We
was,
did
I believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
we did a cleanup.
Wednesday, April 22nd this year.
Yeah.
You're glitching out a little, Mike. You're like Max Headroom
What day?
over there.
I think he froze.
He froze.
8th is the Tuesday. 5th
It sounds like
is the
you're putting dates
Saturday,
out. Oh,
bro.
you might have to go a little closer. I know you want to be with the palm trees, Mike, but you might
The
have to go a little
26th is
closer.
Sunday. You think it's closer?
Oh, I think, Mike, you were
Well,
saying
the
what the
11th is
weekends.
a Saturday.
Yeah, 11th and 12th, and then the 18th and the 19th, and then the 25th and the 26th are the weekends of availability, because Easter's on the 5th, and you were probably saying that while the technology was failing us.
I think it still is. It looks like school vacation this year is the 19th to the 25th.
Yeah, it's usually the third full week of April. And it's a mixed bag. Sometimes people have better availability then and want to do stuff during the week while the kids are off, and they have to be off too. And then there are people that go out of town that say, hey, if you were doing something on the 11th and 12th, we would be able to participate, but we're going to be away the week of school vacation. Anyway, though, if somebody would be willing to, do the coordination and whatnot, and work with Herlin on that, I would be happy to, support them to the best of my availability, right, with best practices or help or whatnot. And I can probably volunteer one day in April, but my April is pretty much maxed out this year due to some circumstances.
Unfortunately, Madam Chair, I will be out of the country from the 12th to the 28th of April.
Yeah, well, that sounds really fun, Mike, and I very happy for you. Are you going anywhere exciting?
I will be walking in. I'm actually going to be walking in Italy.
Okay. So last time it was biking in Amsterdam. So now you're gonna be walking in Italy.
Yes.
All right. Well, that sounds really fun. And so
I'll make sure that the pollinator habitat is on board. And didn't the Lunenburg Public Library do something, or I could be mistaken, that may have been Arbor Day and not.
I think it was.
They didn't do something last year, I don't think, but they did something the 2 years before.
The year before, yes.
I mean, if I'm recalling correctly, too.
Oh, yeah, you know what I was thinking of?
Bring it up. We always bring it up, and they let us know if it's something they might be interested in doing. So it's worth a shot to them if it's something that they may coordinate something in and around a program that they may want to bring kids in to the library. Sometimes Robin.
Oh, yeah,
Venezia,
that's a great idea, right? Bring them in and.
So, I know there's a lot of interest. I certainly don't want not to include them and let them decide if it's something they would like to share and be part of. So I will be glad to mention it to them to see if there's any interest, and let everybody know here at the conservation.
Yeah, that would be great. And I can definitely help out. I mean, obviously I plan on being on board. I don't know if I can lead, but I can definitely help Herlin coordinate. I can help set up Google Forms. I can do a lot of that stuff. And help as much as I can. April is hard for me at work though. I'll definitely be available too at some of the events for sure. But we'll figure that out. And then I'll work with Herlin on that. Mike, you can talk to the pollinator habitat. And if anyone else is interested in anything Earth Day related that is on the call, we can also figure out ways for everybody that's interested to help out.
Okay.
April will be here before we know it. I can't believe it's 2026, so we'll probably start talking about that stuff sooner rather than later. All right, but thank you for all that you have done for Earth Days in the past, Mary.
Really?
Yeah. So it's so much work. It really is a lot of work that you put into it, and also just getting that's the other thing we need to figure out is getting the volunteer time and getting credit for that, right? So all of those things that we need to keep visibility in. All
Yeah,
right.
that just a quick note, log in the volunteer time actually comes in handy whenever we go and apply for additional grants. Just to make certain everybody has heard, Bob Pease actually has volunteered to propose some grants to Mass Recreational Trails to get funding for the Reno parking lot and the Table Rock parking lot to actually get them installed. And so being able to say that, we do these Earth Days and we have this kind of, volunteer turnout substantiates very much our level of community support.
What qualifies as like volunteer hour? Like what events are you able to log? Because I just bring this up because I volunteered at the library a few times doing some gardening with Robin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that qualifies or not.
Well, what in the past I've captured is volunteer time on conservation properties. And then, if Parks was participating with us, I would capture their volunteer hours so that they had access to it for grants that they were doing for Parks. Because, a lot of those grants are funded differently, from different sources. So I think it's important not to intermingle. And I don't know, and the library, all volunteer work is important, but I think the library volunteer work we couldn't claim as, community support for conservation properties.
Okay.
It's a fair question.
Yeah. And I wonder if I wouldn't be here, but maybe there may be some because that is a pollinator garden that's there. So maybe there might be something somewhere else that could, be utilized as because it is, the kinds of things that they look for when they talk about grants and stuff like that. So, I do
Well, the
think that
pollinator habitat too is on a conservation land, right? So,
Madam Chair?
volunteer hours there we do count.
Mike?
I just wanted to say the internet tells me that Earth Day in 2026 is actually Wednesday, April 22nd.
The internet
That's the
is correct,
official.
Mike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not always,
So
but
that's the official day.
on this case, too.
Yeah, that might be a
Okay.
good day to have kids at the library, though, like the official day where parents might be looking for something to do with their kids. But I'm gonna leave this on the agenda.
Should in school on Wednesday, or is that school vacation?
That's
Is that
school
school
vacation.
vacation?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and I will leave this on the agenda so we can discuss anything that comes up in the future.
We'll
Do you
keep
have anything
talking
else
about
to?
it.
Yep. Do you have anything else that relates to
Okay.
Earth Day? Okay. I don't have anything for the budget for this meeting. I'll have stuff for the next meeting.
Oh,
I,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I have a budget something.
Oh, you do?
I do. Could I share?
Absolutely.
It's still showing you as sharing.
I probably am. You guys are just looking at your own faces.
Well, it's
Okay.
funny because since we're both hosts, it says that I was already sharing, but it was your screen that I was looking at.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the past, as a commission, we have talked about including this document, and I hopefully you guys can see it. This is actually
Right.
linked on our website, right? And it's a two-sided flyer. It has, you know, how to contact us, where to get information, and it notifies and or reminds members of the public that you know, there are buffer zones and they are required to come and get permits before, you know, doing any type of you know, activity in those buffer zones. And we had talked in the past about getting this printed up, putting it in the one of the tax mailings that goes out to all of the residents. You know, we wouldn't get renters, right? But we would at least get everybody who's property owner would get this reminder. And I think it's important when we talk about budgets to make certain that this is actually a budgeted line item so that we are in a position to execute on it this year or, you know, the next fiscal year.
Yes. Yep. Yes. So, add to budget also need to figure out how much that would cost too in order to add it.
Yeah, that's correct. I think Michael Gale seems like he's really really proficient. So maybe he could figure out, you know, talk to the tax department and figure out how many mailings they do. If he knows how many mailings, then I think he could probably talk to whoever does printing of like flyer kind of stuff with the town and get some kind of budgetary quote on a two-sided, you know, one pager.
Yeah. And then also, I know that I believe that we have, it might be a volunteer like doing the tax credit hours that stuffs the bills. I'm not sure if we pay somebody to stuff the bills, but there may be a cost associated with that too. So okay. Yeah, awesome. Thank you for reminding me of that, Mary. Because that is something that has been talked about since I joined the commission. So which
It was something I talked about wanting to do at my initial appointment hearing.
Yeah. So which was 4 years ago now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have any encroachment issues. Hollis Road residents, we have not purchased the Marcel yet because I was told that there's actually a credit card that we can use from the town, but Michael was out sick and then I got super busy. We have been to the pollinator habitat though, and there's no, it wasn't super cold in there, but I will get that Marcel going. And then also, we have Unitil bills coming in. So Michael Gale has asked that we get a purchase order in line just to cover those bills so he doesn't have to get each one approved, which obviously makes sense. He had asked for 350, which would be covering about $50 a month until July. I think we should look at 500 just in case it's Unitil. You never know what can happen. They might, I don't know if they ever put their prices up in February. My bills are pretty high from them, so I think we might want to look more toward 500, but I am open to suggestions.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to open a PO not to exceed, you said $500?
Yeah.
For Unitil for the Hollis Road residents.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. We also we went out as a commission to the Hollisburg residents on Saturday and looked at some of the things that need to be done, and we'll have to start moving on those things pretty soon. I think we'll revisit that more at the next meeting, unless anyone has anything they want to add.
I
Uh,
just wanted to add
we-
to remind the Conservation Commission that, are you hearing me here? Or am I fading
Yes.
in and out?
No, you
Just
are
wanted to
fully
remind
with us.
about the heating system. Okay, just wanted to remind all the commissioners that the end of the month, I believe it's the 30th, that we're going to have that heating system cleaning and servicing at the Hollis Road residence as part of the annual cleaning, making sure that the all the filters are changed and that we don't have any interruptions during the winter.
Okay, and as far as that
And I think
goes,
we did it a couple of meetings ago.
yep,
Not to exceed $500 or so, I believe. The vote
And-
was, and yes,
who will be on site to meet them when they do the cleaning?
Cam's Heating does the servicing, and Jason knows the route as far as the going through the bulkhead. And there's generally no need for anyone to be on site because they
Okay.
just know how to do it.
So, oh, they don't need to enter in the property?
That just through the bulkhead outside the house. There's
Okay,
no need to
Okay.
enter inside.
okay,
right?
awesome. Okay, do we have anything else on Hollis for now? All right, committee reports. Teddy, I don't think master plan steering committee has met since you're kind of
We
in,
we have not met, but I did get a downloadable draft. It's about 170 pages long, but there's lots of pictures and infographics. I can forward it to you all, so you can just look at it
that'd be awesome.
at your own leisure. But yeah, I'll go ahead and send that at the end of the meeting.
Okay, that would be awesome. Thank you. I'm actually really excited to see what is on there. And
Yeah, it's kind of
again,
fun.
just thank you so much for taking that on, because I think that's a really important part of our town structure. And what were you gonna
Happy
say?
to. I was very excited about it.
Yes.
It's just a fun. I just like looking at the infographics. It's kind of they made it pretty to look at. So
Awesome.
lots of graphs and whatnot.
I can't wait to see it. Chris is not here to update us on open space. Stormwater has not met since our last meeting. Did we meet since our last meeting? No, we did not meet since our last meeting. But we are meeting tomorrow. So I will have an update next time. Do we have any communications or public comment?
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
I am super excited that we have Herland starting full time February 9th. That's absolutely a huge win for the town. And I really can't even put into words how tickled I am about that. Because you know, it has been a long time, and there have been a lot of challenges, you know, and no ill will towards anybody. Everybody that has been involved with the office has been doing the best that they could do under very challenging circumstances. But you know, Herlin is just such a huge win for our conservation office. I'm tickled.
Same, as am I. I have been very lucky that even though she's been here part-time, to have Michael and Herlin in the office, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like to have her full time. It's been, it just even having her part time. I just all of the proactivity that I think we're going to be able to accomplish is it's going to be really amazing. So I'm very excited to have her. Does anyone else have anything that they would like to add? Okay. Our next meeting is January 21st at 7:00 p.m. on Zoom. And if there's nothing else, I will be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote. Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. We are adjourning at 9:52 p.m. on January 7th, 2026 at the Lunenburg Conservation Commission.